Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another Diablo 4 video. This time around it's my infinite resource rapid fire rogue. It's just this gunner playstyle and so much fun to use rapid for a single target burst instead of a basic skill. In addition, I'm playing Pen Shot to make use out of inner sight procs, which results in big nukes. It was super OP for leveling and entering World Tier 4, so I decided to share my setup with you real quick. Make use of the timestamps if you want to skip around the video. Welcome to World Tier 4, I guess. So, the helm I'm wearing is Disobedience. I have Enshrouded here on the chest piece. So, Dark Shroud gives a little bit more DR. More about that in the Skilltree. Stats on here, I mainly rolled damage wherever I could. I even rolled life somewhere away, so it's a little bit of glass cannon. The gloves here, rapid fire, has a chance to ricochet. Not that bad, a little bit more AoE. Exploit this here on the pants. In certain situations, just let out 40% damage. As well as Edgemaster here on the weapon. So the good part about this build is, since I'm not using any basic skills, I don't have to worry about aspects for basic skills. Basically, it means I can just print every damage aspect there is on my gear. Not only Edgemaster, but just literally everything. The boots here is Metamorphosis, so I have another source of unstoppable. Or rather, yeah, at the moment this is the only one. Yeah, look at this weapon, man, like 126 dex, energy on kill, double damage roll. GG, man. Yeah, I would try to get a crossbow for the vulnerable damage. The build revolves around vulnerable. Using swords for the crit damage. Daggers would look cool, but they give damage to close enemies, not useful. So running the Ring of Elements here. Well, I'm so used to having the aspect on the ring, yeah. Running the Elements effect here. So the circles next to the Dark Shrouds. I had to decide between this and Inner Calm. And I went with this, just because it looks cool. I think Inner Calm is a little bit better, especially in boss fight situations like this. Using the one for Pen Shot here. So Pen Shot has a chance to split. Even though it says only 12%, it's a low bob roll. I don't have any other, but like, it happens frequently enough to be like super viable. Pockets in here, I use crit damage. You could use the one for vulnerable damage. And go with another Keystone passive, more about that in a moment. Onto my jewelry here. Yeah, since I need to make monsters vulnerable in order to make rapid fire free to cast, I have the necklace of a cursed touch here. Yeah, lucky hit chance, so it's around a 50% chance to apply vulnerable. And also this can result in big nukes because of the stored souls. Yeah, I mean 50% with a super fast attack. Alone fires 5 arrows. I would believe every single arrow has a chance to trigger this, so it's only if I mess it up. If I'm too greedy for damage and I start spamming Pen Shot too early, then I can run out of resource. But yeah, it's just fun to play around like with resource management. It's a different playstyle from like the last rogue I played in pre-season. Accelerating on the ring. So crit strikes with core skills, and I'm only using core skills. Increase my attack speed. I had this broadly on the amulet, and like the vulnerable proc on the ring, but it gives less. It gives like a 37% chance or so on other than a necklace or an amulet. It was not that viable, you know what I mean? Like it was a little bit clunky. So I went back to this, and yeah, super good flow when playing the game. Works like this the best in my humble opinion. This one's a really nice one. Bit of corruption, so imbuement skills. This is also a min roll, like imagine. Another 40% multiplier. 40, 40. Exploiters. Oh, maybe a little side note on exploiters. What's actually unstoppable, right? Not every boss is unstoppable, but for example, in this capstone dungeon, the guys who charge you, while they charge, they are unstoppable. So And that's the moment where you absolutely want this 40% extra damage, right, against them. As an example. Where was I? Yeah, the imbuement skills. So, you see a little 2 next to the imbuement now? So the next 2 shots are imbued. The first one, I mean, I have several sources of vulnerable, right? But the first one would make it vulnerable. And the second one would hit like a truck because of the aspect here. Yep, of course, my gear is super upped, crafted, decent aspects. This is my second character. But I tried this, like I leveled with this. Let's talk about the skill tree now. Oh, like the most important, like the core mechanic of the build inner side here. Yeah, it's we get the infinite resource. And it looks cool when it, like the eye fills up, boom. I should spam pen shot only when this procs, okay? But sometimes it's alright. Like sometimes it's alright. But when I get too greedy, as I mentioned, for damage, that's where I can mess up, right? And I literally run out of resources. The very first level, I did the following. I was using the new OP above the Heartseeker here with the one that gives crit damage. Crit damage. Boom. Went into pen shot. And this was pretty much good enough to hop into Helltide right away. Yeah, I leveled with this for a little bit until I unlocked my rock quest and so on, and was around level 20 or so. The core mechanic. So at the beginning, the sustain is not, let's say, level 20 character. Well, the build comes online at around level 30, okay? If you have access to all the aspects. Beginning, the sustain is not good enough to run both. It gets super weird. So I only use rapid fire. Or endless rapid fire firing is online at around level 30. And the most important one, that's how it all works together, is improved rapid fire. Gain 15 energy per cast on rapid fire when it damages a vulnerable enemy. Pretty much everything we ever attack is vulnerable because of Shadow Imbuement and of the Vampiric Curse Touch aspect on the amulet. Maxing this out, of course. Preferably, I would want a plus skills later. I have only 1 point in pen shot. Yeah, I've been testing it on a dummy. And like I saw 120k crits when there was only rank 1 pen shot. I also saw around that number when I had it maxed, right? The only difference was 5 out of 5 pen shot. I saw a big number more frequently. But a rank 1 pen shot can also hit like a truck, as you've seen in the boss fight here and against certain elites. 1 into dash, just a cool multiplier to have. Also, it counts for 5 seconds. Kinda good with this build. In 5 seconds, you can easily press out like 3 rapid fires. Mixing out weapon mastery because I'm using swords and bows. Demand flat damage and damage to vulnerable. Really good for this setup. How to get tanky? I maxed out Dark Shroud. And I have the movement speed here. Lol, this wasn't even the full damage. So this boss could have died, those elites could have died way faster. This one is for damage, this one is for movement speed. Yeah, the more charges this has, or rather the higher ranked it is, the more DR it gives. It's a really good ability. And later on in the game, like end game, level 100, I don't even, if I would play this build to a level 100, I would not even use this on the skill bar no more. I would just precast it, get rid of it, and have a second imbuement or something instead of this in the skill bar. And due to the aspect, you just snowball, right? Or rather, you can easily keep up the charges. A lot of free damage. Just sitting here, 3 out of 3 exploit, 3 out of 3 malice. Shadow Imbuement, oh, I have only 1 point in here as of now. I will eventually max this out later. Great source of vulnerable and adds AoE and gives a lot of energy. So each time I kill an enemy with shadow damage, I generate 30 energy. Yeah, preferably I would eventually have a second imbuement, but the character is obviously not a high enough level. So you did see me swap Death Trap for Shadow Clone against the boss. Like this gives it an insane burst potential, like just a crazy damage window, because he casts the same skills than me. It's in quotes only 80% of the damage, but bro, it's like so many rapid fires. And if I time it right, to get the inner side proc right, Like the eye fills up, then I can spam infinitely pen shots. So if I time it right, and then drop the clones, it's insane damage output. So really nice to kill a boss real quick. Usually I have Death Trap. One of my favorite skills of the whole rogue class, just because it's fun. Yeah, it's my panic button. It's my panic button. It's also, it just stacks them together. That's just personal preference. But yeah, the build revolves around, right? So boom, I stack this up. Then I wanna spam pen shot. And this is really nice to group the mobs together, because it pulls mobs in. Like almost half a screen gets pulled in, and then you spam pen shots. Like you can set up crazy nukes with this. Super fun. And as I said, just a panic button. Also sometimes when I expect a dangerous situation, right? Like I drop this beforehand, then I kite the mobs into the trap. Like it's really nice. Really nice. Insane radius as well. And can reset itself. The other ultimates cannot do that. So I really prefer Death Trap. I would actually want the pants. So it triggers all the time, unless it hits a boss or elite, if I remember that correctly. Yeah, the unique pants would be really nice to have here. I maxed out Adrenaline Rush and Haste. They synergize really well together, and obviously in a build like this, want as much regeneration and stuff as possible. So maxing out those, maxing out this for more damage. After moving my next non-basic attack, I like the wording here, my next non-basic attack, these just let out 21% more damage. Maxing out Innovation. The Keystone passive. The Keystone passives of the Rogue are generally all good. Like really, they all serve their purpose. And I'm using Precision. And if I want even more AoE clear, for example in Helltide, like, well, against Precision is a little bit overkill in things like Helltide. This is more against bosses, or if you just want to see a big crit. But to clear even more, Victimize is really, really nice. But also swap the gems for vulnerable damage gems then. Yeah, Paragon board. Not level 50 yet. Yeah, this is my World Tier 4 starter. Rogue. Take it with a grain of salt. This is my alt character. I have access to like a lot of currency and so on. Even the moment I hit level 55, I have access to 925 ancestral uniques, because I advise you to do the same if possible. Don't collect those thingies. If you have a level 100 main, you don't really need 1 or 2 legendaries, right? But if you level an alt, and then collect those, it's insane. I got like condemnation and stuff out of there, right? Just waiting for me to be equipped at level 55, which will carry me to through the rest of World Tier 4. Super nice progression here. Yep. Let me know what you think. Like, I think it's super fun to have a build which is not even using a basic skill. Even though I think basic skill is a little bit the meta. I'm using 2 core skills, okay? No basic skill. It's pretty crazy to have an infinite build. The thing with this is, you could run this a million ways. The core mechanic is inner sight, rocking inner sight with rapid fire. Okay? Everything else is pretty much personal preference. As I said, a late game, I will probably, like I would do the following. Let's say I'm level 100 and I want to clear the Nightmare 100 real quick or something. I click Dark Shroud, and then I would equip something else instead of Dark Shroud. And like clearing the dungeon that way. So that makes room for a second damage source, maybe even more damage and so on. Or more defenses, whatever. Like it's highly customizable. Thanks for watching. Be free to give the video a like. Consider subscribing. I will most likely update this. Yep. Thanks again, and catch you in the next one. Later.